The GLC was corrupted by Ken Livingston Livingstone, who enriched these criminals whom he expected to praise him. And they never ever even recognized a member of the ordinary community, either Indians in the case of C.B. Patel or the Caribbeans in the case of Rifraf Arif Ali. What has happened in the years since the demise of the Greater London Council, the GLC, is that other outfits and outlets have taken over the role of the corruption of London and the boroughs, which is why our campaign opposed the imposition of the elected mayor post in Tower Hamlets and continued to oppose the perpetration in Newham where it had been started with Robin Wales in 2002. And the elected mayor post candidate in September 2010 in Tower Hamlets was still officially the Labour Party candidate in Tower Hamlets. And who were the people who appeared to endorse them? There was a do held at the Troxy in a commercial road on the 14th of September 2010. And the do was attended by mainly Bangladeshis, but Bangladeshis that were recruited by Lutfur Rahman as his supporters. It wasn't a mixed audience. The only white people that were there were only about 3 or 4 people, white people. Two of them are notoriously known as a pair of Lutfur Rahman promoters. Those two didn't have any platform of their own within the Labour Party in Tower Hamlets. So they wanted to front Lutfur Rahman as the white faces for Lutfur Rahman, and they were there. And from Lewisham came this Ken Livingstone. Ken Livingstone, ex-employee of Ken Livingstone, the GLC, who was the mayor at Lewisham. And from the Caribbean community came a thing that was associated with the Operation Black Vote. None of these things were anything to do with the local ordinary people in Tower Hamlets whatsoever. And none of the things that the Lewisham mayor said about Lutfur Rahman was true. Because at that date, 14th of September 2010, Lutfur Rahman was still being invented. Lutfur Rahman was being invented from the East London Mosque base of the Islamic Forum Europe, as claimed on the Channel 4 Dispatches program by Andrew Gilligan. Until that time, that is the 1st of March 2010, broadcast on Channel 4 of the Dispatches program, Britain's Islamic Republic, Lutfur Rahman was not a publicly known personality based on any achievement, any record of any public activities. It's all a fantasy. So when the Lewisham mayor appeared on the platform in the road, Troxy on the 14th of September 2010 and delivered a completely untruthful endorsement for Lutfur Rahman, He sounded like a mechanical continuation of Keith Slee's Vaz and Ken Langston Livingston and George Galloway on the 6th of February 2010 at the Brady Center, where three of them supported the Vote Yes for Mayor referendum campaign. And all three of them, in effect, gave advance praise for Luthuraman as being the fit and the only appropriate candidate for the mayor, even before the referendum, so called, had been held, even before the outcome of the referendum had been declared. So it was a plot by these criminals to impose Luthuraman as the elected candidate for the elected mayor, and that plot went ahead because although he was the Labour Party's candidate on the 14th of September, his candidature as Labour Party candidate was interrupted by the ambitions of Halal Abbasuddin Elias Halal, who communicated a so-called dossier to the Labour Party's then executive committee with alleged misdeeds by Luthuraman. The result of that dossier resulted in Luthuraman being dropped by the Labour Party as the Labour Party's candidate for the post, and he was replaced by Abbasuddin alias Halal. Abbasuddin alias Halal succeeded in getting the candidate spot for himself, but he failed to get the votes because a week before the election, Private Eye ran the Rotten Borough's piece against Halal Abbas, or alias Abbasuddin alias Halal, ridiculing him and exposing for the first time in public Halal Abbasuddin alias Halal's reported corruption at the Spitalfields Housing Cooperative, or later Spitalfields Housing Association, where Abbasuddin alias Halal allegedly got elected on the management committee by relying on or benefiting from the fraudulently activated votes of dead people, dead members of the Spitalfields Housing Association. And according to the Private Eye piece in the Rotten Boroughs, the then Communities Department investigating the allegations put to Abbasuddin alias Halal the question whether he was the alleged candidate A in the investigation, in the allegations. And as Private Eye said, Abbasuddin alias Halal failed to reply, either accept or deny. So, the Private Eye piece accordingly was headed Halal Dead Meat. Now, halal and halal phonetically very similar. And halal is an Islamic term. But then halal is made haram, forbidden, if it's dead meat. So Abbasuddin alias Halal was termed as a dead meat by Private Eye, which used evidence of Abbasuddin alias Halal's own corruption, coming as it did Only a few days before the election for the so-called mayor, that piece did play a definitive, decisive part in sinking Abbas Uddin alias Salal. And Lutfur Rahman was duly declared elected in October 2010. A week after his election, I questioned Lutfur Rahman outside the Brick Lane Mosque on the Friday, the 29th of October 2010. And in the recorded video that I recorded, Lutfur Rahman lied about 7 or 8 times. Lied in the sense that he said that he would meet me, sit down with me, and listen to me about how he could stop himself being involved in the further corruption by and through the Armless Council. His lies remain on the record. So although he got in with corruption and being a corrupt individual, Lutheran went ahead and committed series of corruption, resulting therefore in his being banned for 5 years from public office by the election commissioner on the 23rd of April 2015. Now, these are facts, undeniable facts. So, why did the Labour Party in Tower Hamlets allow Lutfur Rahman to get, quote, elected on the 5th of May 2022 to the same post? We shall be talking about that and other issues in the later editions.